Greetings one and all. Welcome back. We're on the first day of Cheshvan 5780. Hope everyone had a meaningful holiday season. As I'm sure all of you know, that we accept upon ourselves various changes, resolutions during the holiday season. And this month that we're in now, Cheshvan, the 8th month of the year, this is the time where God checks us out to see how serious we are. Did we really mean what we said or what we thought, or the changes or the various resolutions that we accepted upon ourselves? This is the month, perhaps is more important than the month of the holidays. Because in the holidays, everybody's in the holiday spirit. But when that is over, that's when you see who are the real big league players. So we should all be successful in putting into practice those good resolutions and thoughts that we accepted upon ourselves during the month of the holidays. Okay, today's title of the class, we're going to need a couple of seatbelts over here. Title of the class is Israel's Haunted House. Frightening stories that will make your hair stand on end. Now this is I know that 'tis the season. I know that sometime soon it's like trick-or-treat season. And maybe this is a takeoff on that season. Okay, here's how the story begins. Story happened to me. It was Wednesday night during the holiday of Sukkot. One of my kids had a party for the birth of their daughter. And there was about maybe 50 people sitting around. My son-in-law told this wild story about a disciple of one of the famous rabbis, the Rebbes. I think it was Pinchas of Koritz. Now this disciple was so excited that this year he was going to be able to spend his holiday, the Sukkot holiday, he would be able to spend with his mentor, Rabbi Pinchas. Rabbi Pinchas, though, sends him on a couple of missions before Sukkot's holiday. Anyway, sure enough, this ain't Israel. You know, we're somewhere in Europe here, and it starts snowing, and then the taxi driver, so to speak, in those days was just horses, but the horse taxi driver said, "Listen, I got to stop." He says, "No, we got to continue because I must get back to spend the holiday season with my rabbi mentor, Rabbi Pinchas." And the buggy, the wagon kept on going for another 10, 20 minutes, but that was it. Now he's stuck. So he's stuck, and he just can't believe it, you know? Like, how's he going to get out of here? There's a tremendous snowstorm here, and in those days they didn't have it's not like Washington or Chicago where they have these little tractors that run around the city putting salt on the floor and clearing it all out. You know, they didn't have that. So until the sucker was over, man, you're stuck. So he's sitting there and he just can't believe it. This is going to be his holiday? Instead of being with the holy Rabbi Pinchas, he's stuck here. All of a sudden, somebody comes into the house that he's staying at. Somebody took him in. And this guy is like, he has like this funny, funky hat on, you know, and white clothing. And he has all over him, he has flour. That's not flowers like a gift, it's Flour. He's got flour all over him. You know, and he comes up and he welcomes this guest, you know, and he gets all of his, you can imagine, like that's a welcome you would probably rather not have, because now you look at your own clothes and you're full of flour yourself. And he can't believe he's stuck with like these simpletons. And then, the next day, another baker comes in with that funky white hat, and he's all over. And the next day, another one of these bakers comes in with this hat and all flour all over it. Anyways, Sukkot is over. Sukkot is over, man. And he's thinking, wow, this is unbelievable. I should have been up in heaven with Rabbi Pinchas. And I got stuck. I got stuck with these simple people. I got stuck in like hell. All these bakers coming up and welcoming me and getting all their flour all over my clothes and shirt and pants and baggage. So Sukkot is over, and he finishes his mission, and he returns to his mentor, Rabbi Pinchas. And he just cannot believe what just happened to him. Such expectations, such aspirations, expecting tremendous high experience spiritually, and he gets stuck. So he walks into Rabbi Pinchas's study, and he says, Rabbi Pinchas to him as he walks in, he says, did you see those special guests of Sukkot that came by to visit you? And the student says, what special guests? What ushpizin? Ushpizin? We have guests, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. He says, yeah. Didn't you see like Abraham, Isaac, Jacob? They were dressed up as bakers. And like he wants to faint. You can't believe it. Can't believe it. Here he was thinking that he's surrounded by these simpletons. And here he was really. A tremendous experience that God had given him. That he sent him. The tremendous ushpizim, the guests. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I heard that story and I went home. Very nice story, thank you. Little did I know that story was going to be me. Folks, that was Wednesday night. Fast forward. This is Thursday night, 2 a.m. Richter household. My mom and her husband were by us for Sukkot. My mom wakes up at 2 a.m. complaining about stomach pains. My wife was up at that time. That's not my hours. She gave her 2 Tylenols or aspirin or something. She felt better. She fell back asleep. I came home from the morning prayers at 8 o'clock. My mom gets up. She's complaining again about stomach pains. I saw that she was really, really suffering. I said, man, we gotta move here. So we went to the nurse of Elon Moreh. Not much she can do. She sent us to a doctor in Ariel. Happened to be one of these Arab doctors, the not ready for primetime player doctors. You don't really know how they got that, how they got their documentation. You're not really sure because, I was asking him different questions and he didn't know. So there was nothing that he could help us with. So he sends us to the emergency ward in Petach Tikva in Bellinson Hospital. Okay, it's early Friday morning. Folks, to make a long story long, I was there with my mom and her husband 3 days in Bellinson. I'm expecting this great holiday. I have my kids, my grandkids coming over. And here I am, Friday, the Holy Sabbath, and Sunday. And it looks like I'm going to be there also for the last day, Simchas Torah, the final day. And here I am. I'm like, there's this tremendous, there are these angels dressed in clothing. They're from the Satmar Hasidim, disciples of the Satmar, and they're unbelievable. In many, many hospitals in Israel, if you get stuck on a holiday or on the Sabbath, they give you festive meals, give you grape juice, they give you rolls of bread. At least you feel some type of festivity. So I'm a pretty finicky guy. So what I ate for those 3 days, if you could believe it, was bread and more white bread. Usually I eat whole wheat bread and more bread. And thank God they had some fruit cocktail that I was able to have. But that's what I ate for 3 days.
They had a sukkah there?
Yeah, they have like a few sukkahs over there. They had a few sukkahs over there. So that's what I ate. I was going on bread. I mean, they have other foods, but it just reminded me of the army. It reminded me of like these rations of the army that I can't go back to those bad old days. You know, just like I don't know, for me it was too risky to go for that kind of food. So I gave it for my mom's husband to have. Anyways, the first night I was there was Friday night. Of course, I can't sleep in the hospital, and there's no beds in the sukkah. So there are also angels, besides for the Satmar angels, that have this tremendous charity organization that in different hospitals they give out meals. So you feel some type of festivity in the holidays. There's also other types of angels. These don't wear black hats or black suits, but these have knitted kippot, and they live about 10-15 minute away walking from Beilinson Hospital. And if anybody gets stuck in Beilinson on a Shabbos or a holiday, so they open up their homes, you could sleep in their house. So my wife arranged, she found one of these angel families, and at about 9 o'clock, I made my way from Beilinson to this neighborhood. They live on the 9th floor. That was kind of fun, climbing up 9 floors, going up 9 floors. I made a calculation. That Shabbat, I went up and down more than 2,200 stairs. You might be asking, how did I figure that one out? In Beilinson Hospital, they have a sign on every floor giving you encouragement. You have walked so far 26 steps. You've taken off this many calories. And every story, every floor, there's another encouraging sign that keep on going, keep on going. So I know exactly, my mom was on the 6th floor, and I know how many times on that Sabbath I went up and down. So over 2,200 stairs I did within 24 hours. Not bad. So anyways, what's 9 more floors? You know, what's 9 more floors after you did 2,200 stairs in Beilinson? So I get up there, and after I ate, it was time to go to sleep. I asked the family if they could point out how I could go to the sunrise prayers in the following morning on Shabbat. So we're on the 9th floor. You could see everything from there. And he pointed out exactly how to go. Fine. I woke up in the morning after sleeping in his sukkah. I woke up and I said, listen, I'm going to go to the hospital first to make sure that my mom and her husband are okay and sleeping. So I went to the hospital first in Beilinson. Once again, climbed up those 6 flights of stairs. And everything was okay. And I started my journey to the sunrise prayer. Now, I'm on a major drag of Petach Tikva. It's called Jabotinsky Street. It's like massive. It's like the main street. Okay? So I'm walking I've now walked about 10 minutes away from the hospital. And I figure I probably have maybe about 15 more minutes till I get to the synagogue. I look to my right, and I see a black dude walking out of an apartment building, And I look, and he's carrying in his hands 2 chairs. So that's not unusual, someone's carrying 2 chairs, but what was a little bit unusual, which caught my eye, not the chairs, but between the chairs, there was like a piece of decoration. You know, like you might see hanging up in somebody's sukkah, like a decoration, a piece of it. One of those, I think they're called maybe streamers. Okay, that's a little unusual. You know, it is right now about 5:30 in the morning. It was 5:30 a.m., pitch dark outside. Okay, so I just, keep on walking. I walk another block, and I look to my right, and I see another black dude. This guy is carrying on his shoulders a stand fan. Okay, one of these fans like this high. Okay, we're not talking about World Series, Nationals and the Astro fans. This is like a fan that cools you off. And this dude is like, he's holding it on his, on his shoulders, the fan, and like lifting weights, it looks like. I said, what in the world is going on here? What is happening here? First, the guy with 2 chairs and a streamer. And now, a guy walking with a fan. So I think to me, okay, listen. They look to me like they're from Africa or something. And maybe they're going to a house, to their house, and they're carrying some of their furniture. So I walk about another block, and all of a sudden, remember how Moses, when he returns to the Jewish encampment on Mount Sinai, after being 40 days, so he comes on the 17th day of Tammuz with the 2 tablets, and then he sees the Jewish people dancing to the calf, and he takes the tablets and he breaks them. This guy, this black guy with the fan on his shoulders, he lifts up the fan and boom, throws it on the ground. I said, whoa, that's it for me. Now I'm certain, now I'm putting 1 and 1 together. These 2 clowns, they stole various pieces of furniture from 2 different families' sukkahs. One guy stole 2 chairs, and when he stole the 2 chairs, the streamer got in his way or something, and he was holding that too. And the second guy, he probably went into a sukkah, and he stole the fan. And now, what was the purpose? Purpose was not even to steal, not that this is good, but sometimes a person steals because they need to receive some kind of pleasure, enjoyment from something. This is just, let us cause damage to the Jewish people. Let us ruin their holiday. Imagine that, a family, you have kids, it's hot. Come downstairs, you're missing some chairs. Come downstairs, your fan is not there. So that is a terrible feeling. Somebody invaded your turf. That is a terrible feeling that somebody foreign went right in. Now it's so sick that, it's just done out of malice to damage and to one up the Jewish people. So I see about maybe after he breaks the fan, I see like half a minute later, I see this guy with the 2 chairs, I see him walking towards another sukkah on the bottom floor. I ran up to him and said, boom! And I astonished him. And then the dude says to me, cigarette? Cigarette? I said, man, are you nuts? Look at me. Do I look like I have a cigarette? It's the Holy Sabbath. Cigarette? He keeps on going, man. Cigarettes. I see that these 2 dudes are half drunk or something else, you know, maybe they're on something. I just cannot believe it. And then, so the guy, instead of going to the sukkah, thank God, when he saw me, and I yelled at him, so he continued walking on Jabotinsky Street. About a half block later, he takes the 2 chairs, throws them into the bushes. I went, whoa, what in the world is going on here? These 2 lowlifes, these 2 vermin, coming from Africa, you know, illegally coming into Israel. And instead of being appreciative, here they're going into people's sukkah and stealing for the sake of just doing damage. Now, no more fan, no more chairs. I'm thinking, as I'm walking with them, you know, I'm walking like in the street, on the side of the street, and they're walking on the sidewalk. Thinking, what am I going to do here? I said, man, where the hell are the police when you need those guys? You know, if something happens in one of the hilltops or one of the settlements, some Jew does something, believe me, baby, they have 20, 30, you know, police vans ready to go. But here I'm on the main drag of Petach Tikva. I cannot find any damn police. I said, listen, I can't let these guys go. I'm going to walk with them. So I'm thinking to myself, what about the morning prayers? Supposed to turn off over here. You know, said, forget. This is your mitzvah right now. This is your mitzvah. This is your commandment right now. Forget the prayers. You got to stop these guys. Okay, so I'm walking. And I see on the other side of the street, other side of Jabotinsky, I see 2 guys with backpacks. And they're talking on the phone. So I run up to him. I said, listen, are you Jewish? And one guy, he stops talking for a second on his cell phone. And he says, thank God, yes, I'm Jewish. I'm about to faint. This guy is talking on the phone. He's desecrating Sabbath. But he says, thank God, I'm Jewish. Well, baby, if you thank God you're Jewish, you should be on that phone on the Sabbath, baby. I'm thinking oh my God, this is awful. I can't ask a Jew to call the police. For me, I can't ask a Jew to do a transgression. It's not a danger to one's life. So I keep on walking, and I'm walking on the street, and they're walking on the sidewalk, these 2 dudes, and I see a taxi pulled over to the side. I get, wow, maybe this taxi driver is not Jewish. I go up to the guy. I said, what, are you Jewish? He says, yeah. I said, oh, it's too bad. Not thinking. He says, why? Why is that too bad? I said, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. It's too bad you're Jewish. It's great that you're Jewish, but I need somebody that's not Jewish in order to call the police. He said, what happened? He said, see these 2 guys? And I pointed out towards the sidewalk. These 2 guys went into various people's sukkah and stole various items and then broke them. And I want to find somebody that's not Jewish to call the police. Okay, so far I have 2 strikes. These 2 guys on the side, he's thanking God that he's, Jewish, even though he's talking on the phone. We have this driver. He was, a little bit offended when I said, maybe this shows the righteousness of the Jews, even though they're OTD, they're off the derech, even though they're not on the right path. They're still proud Jews. They still have something left in their souls. Maybe that's the way to look at it here. Anyways, then I look across the street. I'm going walking with them, getting further away from the synagogue that I thought I was heading to. Right now it's about 5 to 6 in the morning. So I've been with them for about 25 minutes, walking with them. I'm in the middle of Petach Tikva now. And I see this group of 6 people near a bus stop. And I hear Russian. I said, wow, this is great. I'm going to go up to these people. There's 6 of them. And I asked one of them if they could call the police for me in order that we could arrest these 2 thieves. So I run across the street. This is in the marketplace area now of Petach Tikva. It's in the marketplace. Okay, so I run up to the first Russian. I said, listen, are you Jewish? He said, no. I said, great! He's looking at me like, what's wrong with this guy? I said, listen, gotta do me a favor. See these two guys across the street? They just stole. They just stole from people's homes. I didn't want to, bring in sukkah. These people are not Jewish, and I'm thinking in the back of my mind, one thing that's rolling in my mind is, are these people like Lieberman supporters? This anti-Jewish, anti-God personality in the parliament in Israel, whose platform is that the Torah there should not be a Torah government or rule in the land of Israel. So, I'm thinking, don't tell them that they stole from a sukkah. So, the person says, I don't know the number. I said, no problem. It's an easy number. I'll tell you what the number is. Okay? 100. It's pretty easy. And then he's talking to another guy in Russian, so I don't understand what he's saying. Could have used you, Ephraim, for that. And so I go up to the next Russian fellow. Okay? Hey, listen, you gotta do me a favor. These people stole, they're thieves. They're doing damage to the neighborhood. Can you call the police for me? And, one after another, they said no. I just can't believe it. I'm freaking out. First these two African trash, and now these Russian Gentile trash. And just to help somebody that you see, a person witnessed a crime, they can't even call the police for you. Just to tell them, come to this corner. This is an amazing thing. So I'm thinking they look at me, I'm religious, and they probably hate my guts over here. And if they opened up their shirts, instead of seeing the S, it would be an L like Lieberman, instead of Superman, it would be L as in Lieberman. So, I'm freaking out. I cannot believe this is happening. What in the world? This is Israel's haunted house. I got Africans that are illegal in this country. We have Russians that were brought here, hundreds of thousands of Russians that were brought here, and such a high percentage of them were not religious in order that the secular can keep their regime going. And I'm just surrounded. Okay, now I see a store. It's open, and it's like Saturday morning here, about 5 to 6 now. So I go into the store and I see a woman working there. I said, hey, are you Jewish? She said, no, I'm Russian. I said, great. Can you call the police for me? Right? She's a woman behind the counter. She says, no, you have to ask my boss. So I said, okay, great. Where's the boss? Points over. He's he's putting stuff on the shelves. I said, listen, you gotta do me a favor. See these two guys? And I'm thinking that I'm pointing across the street, but I see they're coming in his store. This is like wild over here. Like Blazing Saddles over here. They're coming into the store, so it's all 3 of us and these 2 Russians in one store. So the guy says, straight in my face, he says, no. I said, what? You're not going to call the police? These people are causing damage. They're stealing from people. The next person could be you. And you're not willing to call the police? Okay, what an embarrassment you are. I just can't believe it. I get the hell out of that store. And I'm thinking now what to do. And once again, I told you I started this walk at about 5:30 a.m. Now it's 6:05. All of a sudden, for the first time, folks, I see a police car. Oh, thank God. When are you happy? When are you happy to see a police car? Never. And here I'm so thrilled here. Finally, okay, we're going to get these you know, the bad guys, you can't let them win. We got them now. They're in this store now. What's easier than that, right? To arrest them. I flagged the guy down, he stops. I said, listen, look into the store over here, see these two black guys? These guys stole from different people's sukkah, and one of them stole a fan, and then later broke it, and the other one stole chairs, and later dumped them into the bushes on Jabotinsky Street. Please arrest them. Okay, like I'm ready for him to run out of the car, right? And do the 50, you know, it's not 50 yards, it's do the 5-yard dash. That's all it takes, because it's 5 yards from the sidewalk into that store. Folks, put on that seatbelt. Guy tells me, listen, I'm not from this precinct. My mouth, my jaw like, you're not from this precinct? Who gives a that you're not from this precinct? Are you a policeman? Or I don't care where you're from. Arrest these guys. And he says, don't worry. I said, I am worried. He says, don't worry. He says, I have all the information I need. I have all the details I need in order to take care of the situation. Okay. So I'm looking around. He has all the information. I'm looking around for these secret, funky cameras, you know, maybe he has in his car that are now photographing these two guys, these two thieves. I don't see any secret cameras. You know, maybe they're hidden well. Or I thought perhaps that in a couple of seconds, we're going to see about 100 policemen surrounding this little store, this little, food store that's opened 24/7 in Petach Tikva. You know, I'm ready for them troops come. Dum bum ba-da-dum bum bum ba-da-dum bum bum. Yeah? Anyways, so the policeman leaves, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. 5 minutes, 10 minutes go by, and I cannot believe it. I felt like I was this close to having them arrested, and what in the world is going on in this haunted house? Okay? This is a trick. This ain't no treat. So, what is happening in this country? So I'm waiting outside. Now I'm waiting outside the store. Now, 2 more black guys come. 2 more Africans come. And now, at least a little bit of good news here with all the bad news. A little bit of good news that all 4 of them are fist fighting on the other side of the street. You know, and I'm like praying that all sides be successful. All 4 guys will be successful in beating each other up, you know. And then the police will come back here any minute and just arrest all of them. So in the meantime, they're fighting. And, 5-10 minutes go by. And all of a sudden, I see a police car. I flag him down. It's the same dude. It's the same officer. This time he's with a police woman. This ain't Wonder Woman. This just is a, overweight police woman. She ain't no Wonder Woman. And I said, I can't believe it. Where were you? I've been here for 20 minutes since I last saw you. In the meantime, they're across the street. They're fighting each other. And you are such an embarrassment to this country. Aren't you embarrassed? I'm a simple citizen. I'm running around for the last 45 minutes like an idiot, following them, trying to have them arrested. And no one is doing a damn thing about it. And you run off. Now you're back. Arrest them. Okay, he takes his car. And at this place where they were fighting, there's two ways to get out of there. Either go to the right or to the left. There's 2 sidewalks you could go. So the police, he starts going towards them. And I noticed 2 of these Africans are running towards the right sidewalk. So the police police van goes to the left side, and I'm thinking to myself, I can't believe this. How come like one officer gets off and chases down the two that are running away on the right side, and one officer pursues them on the left? That's not how it went. Or I'm thinking to myself, yeah, believe it, I don't believe it. Maybe they called somebody that's going to grab them on the right side. I said, I'm not taking any chances. I don't believe in these people. These people are losers. These people, what was that movie when I was a kid? Serpico? Remember? All the New York cops were on the take. It seemed like these guys are on the take here. What is wrong with them? So I start following the guys that are running on the right side. And ain't no other police there, and they didn't separate themselves. So I saw where they were, and then they sat down, so I felt comfortable. And then I go to the left side, and I see the police car there. I look up, and out of the marketplace comes the guy that broke the fan, stole the fan and broke the fan. I said, officer, arrest him. He's one of the two guys. Comes out to me, says, listen, we have people here that are more important. I said, I don't care more important and less important. This guy stole. If you steal, you have to be arrested. That's the law. I'm not interested in your theories here. Someone we have more important or less important. Arrest this guy. He says, no, you don't understand how we work. I said, thank God I don't understand how you work. You people are an embarrassment to this country. Anyways, he says, okay, I'll take down your, testimony. I said, listen, look at me. See, I got a beard, man. Got one of these things on my head. Got these side curls, yeah. I'm a religious Jew. I ain't telling you anything. I see that you're Jewish, and I'm not giving you any information because you're not allowed to desecrate the Sabbath either. So he says, okay, come after the Sabbath and file a complaint. I said, believe me, I'm coming after Sabbath to file a complaint, also against the police. A complaint, two-pronged complaint against the thieves and against the police for doing nothing. And simple me, I'm to run around over here, in the middle of this jungle between the Russian Gentiles and the African Gentiles over here. Little me over here trying to make sure the bad guys don't win. Okay, so I look at my watch. I have 15 minutes till the sun rises. It's unbelievable. It means I've been with them for 1 hour. I've been running after these guys for 1 hour, and now I have no idea where I am. How in the world am I going to get to this synagogue? You know that song? What page are we on in the synagogue blues? Well, this is the blues of where the synagogue is located. I said, God, do me a favor, man. Do me a favor, God. Send me somebody with a kippah on his head or one of these prayer shawls, and I could ask him how to get there. And sure enough, about a half a minute later, I see this guy walking with one of the prayer shawls, and I come up to him, and he points out, tells me exactly how to get there. And I got there about 7-8 minutes before sunrise, and I was just, you can imagine I'm like a sweat ball trying to come to pray, and you're just like, it's just like I worked out, even though it's the Sabbath. It's like I had this entire workout here before the prayers began. Okay, so fast forwarded. It's Saturday night, S-A-T-U-R-D-A-Y, night. S-A-T-U-R-D-A-Y, night. Yeah, it's Saturday night. And I am so tired. I'm in the hospital the whole day, going up. I told you I went up 2,000, more than 2,200 stairs. I'm really tired, and it's 10:30 at night. And I have to walk to somebody else's house to sleep in their sukkah, because I can't just sleep in can't just sleep in the hospital. I gotta find somebody's sukkah to sleep in. But I said, I'm not going to let the bad guys win. I got I got into my car and I went down to I found the Petach Tikva police station, walked in there. There's this cop outside. I said, listen, I came to file a complaint. I told him what happened. He said, listen, I don't think it's worthwhile. I said, worthwhile? I made this whole trip here. He said, listen, there's 3 people in front of you. I said, how many investigators are there? 1. 1? There's 1 investigator? I said, how long do you think it's going to take? With your experience? He says, probably somewhere between 1.5 and 3 hours. I said, listen, I ain't staying here for 1.5 or 3 hours. You have another idea for me? He said, listen, there's no limitation on when you want to file a complaint. You could come 5 years later and file a complaint. And you could do it anywhere. You don't have to come here. You could do it anywhere in Israel. So I would recommend that you go home. I would not stay here myself. I said, listen, could you tell me if there are like 2 black Africans in, right, every police station has a couple of cells, because a couple of prison cells where they transfer prisoners to court or to bigger prisons. So he says, no, there are no black Africans, there's no blacks here in prison, in these cells. I said, can't be. This morning, I was in contact with the police. He said, listen, I work here, I know who's in here. There are no black people in the cells here. That just broke, that just broke my spirit. That just broke my spirit. Like, all this effort coming, it was the bottom of the 9th. I was really like, 2 runs behind. It's 10:30 at night. And now it's already, 11 o'clock at night. And they never arrested these guys. They were in their hands. They know they had me. You could keep somebody for at least 24 hours in Israel. So what happened was, at 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, and right now it's 11 o'clock at night. They could still keep these people in till, till the next morning, and they just let it go. They just let it go. I was thinking, the words of the Talmud were ringing in my ears. There's a law that says, din pruta kedin mea, that the smallest amount of damage should be looked at as a gigantic damage. When you take something from a little kid, you take a little car, for you it's a little toy. For a kid, it's like somebody taking your Audi 6000. It's the same exact thing. When you took that little car from the kid, it's as if somebody would take from you a Mercedes-Benz, year 2019. That's how they look at it. That's how they feel. So, it's true that what did they steal? They stole 2 chairs and a fan. How much was that? Is that worth? Maybe 300 shekel or $100 roughly. So what's the big deal, right? We have so many, big time criminals. We don't have time for these little criminals. No, that's not the way to look at it. The Torah teaches us the correct way to look at it. The smallest amount of damage should be blown up and look as if it's a tremendous, it's a $1 trillion case here. Because when you start little, in a matter of no time, you get to, you become a big thief. You started out as a petty thief, become a major league thief. So, I was freaking out. I was thinking, wow, who's responsible for this experience? My son-in-law. Because he told me that whole story about this disciple of Rabbi Pinchas of Koritz that was expecting a tremendously spiritually uplifting experience with his mentor, his Rabbi Pinchas, on the holiday of Sukkot. And then he finds himself stuck in the mud, in the snow, in the dirt. And then these bakers with all the, with all the flour on there, getting them dirty. I said to myself, God, I don't know, maybe this is your version of these people that I ran into, the Russian Gentiles, or these African Gentiles, or the Jews on the phone, or the Jew driving the taxi, driving his taxi. Maybe these were Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Moses, and Joseph, and Aaron. Maybe that's your version, God, of what happened to me. Okay, folks. So that was my haunted house. That was my trick, not a treat. But it goes on, dear friends. It goes on. Now, if I could ask you, take out a piece of paper or a pen, and perhaps our great cameraman Ephraim could put some links if he could find them. Let me tell you, I'm going to read a few things that not too many people are aware of in the last couple of days. We'll start number 1. There was a tremendous robbery in the orchards of a winery called Tura. The head of this winery, it's also oil. They produce olive oil. His name is Erez Ben Saadon. This reporter who went to interview the CEO of this company after a group of Arabs snuck into the fields and stole a tremendous amount of equipment and did damage to the fields. This is not, here's what he says, Mr. Erez says, this is not the first crime that has been perpetrated against us. We have many times, we have been afflicted by thieves and robbers. And not only thieves and robbers, they try occasionally to burn our offices down, or they cut up all our hoses in the fields. One time on the holy day of the fast day of Yom Kippur, they took all of our expensive equipment. We will overcome, he said. We will overcome. This was a tremendous past year, he said, as far as rain in the land of Israel, those of us that remember. And this will not break us. This will not break us. He says the following, that what happens to us, the damages and the thievery that happens to us and the arsons, this is the lot of all the Jewish farmers. Folks, listen to those words closely. This is the lot, this is the destiny of all Jewish farmers, that the Arabs, as part of a nationalistic attack against Jewish farmers, all Jewish farmers are affected and have been hit numerous amounts of times. That's what Mr. Erez has to say. And this has to stop because we live in a country here, people are supposed to be protected, their private homes and also their workplaces should be places that are safe places. And that's a pretty sad statement that all Jewish farmers in the land of Israel, no matter which area they are afflicted by Arab nationalist crime. Okay, now, I said take a pen and a paper or a pencil, spray paint, something, crayons. Call up. Maybe if anybody out there is listening, you could offer your services to do some guard duty there at night, in the fields. A person that's not able to do that could call up to give your support on the phone. We're with you. A person can give a donation. Maybe they could hire some security people. You can't get your body out over there? Fine. Give some money. So this doesn't happen again. It's terrible. You give your heart and soul into your job, and then you come one morning and everything's been destroyed. It's a terrible, terrible feeling. It's a continuation of what I was explaining. So I'm feeling like this is one hell of a haunted house we are here in Israel. Between my experience and what's going on, that most of us never hear these pieces of information, most of us do not hear it. Okay, the winery is called Tura, that would be T-U-R-A. It's 02, that's Jerusalem area code, 650-8882. Once again, area code 02, 650-8882. Moving right along. Moving right along. There's 2 days ago in the Jordan Valley, approximately an hour away from our area here in the Holy Apple, there was a demonstration. About 150 Arabs, and that 150, not just Arabs, they included leftist Jews, and also people from all over the world. These international, people that come and to demonstrate. They come from the UK or America to demonstrate in Israel, against Israel, and they encourage and incite the Arabs and also these leftist Jews who encourage and incite the Arabs to attack and to protest against Jewish outposts, Jewish hilltops, Jewish settlements. So this was 2 or 3 days ago, October 26th. Believe it or not, so there was 150 of these Arabs, leftist Jews and international volunteers, that on Sabbath afternoon, get this, in the Holy Land, on Shabbat, these 150 of them come marching into not only the settlement called, it's called Shirata Asavim, the song of the fields, of the grass. Then not only did they march into the settlement, this outpost, they, number one, they put up PLO flags, Palestinian Liberation Organization flags, which call for the destruction of Jews and the state of Israel, the Jewish state. They put them up in the middle of the settlement. They put all these flags up, but they walked, 50 of the 150 walked into the head of the settlement's house. I mean, somebody took a picture. This is on Sabbath, so it must have been from the other side, from the Arab side, taking these pictures. But once again, this is news you hear nowhere else. You hear nowhere else. So 50 of them are in your house. Can you imagine that? It's Sabbath afternoon, a day of rest. And here comes, not the saints come marching in. It's these Arabs and these leftist Jewish dogs and these international Jew haters marching into your house. No knocking on the door. We're just coming inside. Amazing. So there was big, fist fights going on. The Jews were trying to get them out, of course, out of their homes. This article, which was written in a leftist website in Israel, thank God, also in Israel we have our share of Jewish anti-Semites. So the headline is called, the Arabs cried out, "Get off of our land. This land belongs to us." That's the headline over here. And it talks about how 20 of the activists were arrested, and the army used tear gas in order to disperse them after breaking into different people's houses over here. So this is happening, unbelievable, in the state of Israel, the Jewish state, where we claimed and we vowed that this would not happen to us. This would never again happen to the Jewish people. It's happening, and we're letting it happen. The government is letting it happen. The army is letting it happen. The police are letting it happen. So please, the leader, the head, the secretary of this hilltop, his name is Tzuriel. Give him a call. Encourage him. Come down. Maybe do some guard duty or give a donation. Here's his number. Be proactive. Let's get off our blanks and let's try to do something. Because if we expect the police, like I expected the police to come and arrest these people after I was an eyewitness to them stealing. We're going to have to rely, of course, only on God, and we'll have to rely on grassroots groups to do something about it, because we cannot rely on the establishment. So give him a call, Tzuriel. Help out. 052-301-1474. I repeat, 052-301-1474. And the beat goes on. The beat goes on. Listen to this craziness. The haunted house of Israel continues. This ain't no trick. This ain't no treat. This is a trick. It says that the military police arrested this past week 18 fighters of the religious combat unit called Netzach Yehuda. These are religious soldiers from various communities, because of a fight with Bedouins in the south of Israel that occurred last week. Amongst the 18 arrestees is the officer of these fighters. What happened? These soldiers went to a funeral of a 14-year-old boy named Asher Chazut. There was a family that on the second day of Sukkot, second day of the holiday of Sukkot, they were on the beach in the south, and they were hit by a lightning bolt. And this boy, this yeshiva student of 14 years old, he was killed. His name is Asher Chazut. And his other family members were injured. In fact, there was a miraculous recovery of his sister, Efrat Bat Sarah. You could also put her in your prayers. She, thank God, had a miraculous recovery, but she still has a little bit of a ways to go. So put her in your prayers. Efrat, the daughter of Sarah. Efrat Bat Sarah. So after these soldiers participated, they were friends of the Chazut family, so they participated in the funeral. So then they stopped to have something to eat at a gas station down south. And then a group of Bedouin youth came and started cursing out the soldiers. And one of them said that, let's stab a few of these soldiers. So imagine that, you're in the Holy Land where never again would Jews be cursed out. This would not happen again. And it's happening right under our nose. And they're being cursed out by these Bedouin lowlives, vermin. And not only that, they're threatening to stab these soldiers. So at that time, the head of the officer told his soldiers to to start trying to arrest these, to fight with them and to have them arrested. And when they saw that the soldiers were fighting, so then they ran away. Anyways, imagine that. You get back to your base, instead of getting a hero's welcome, instead of being awarded all kinds of high, have your rank raised, elevated. No, they come back and they're told that they have to go now. They're going to be investigated by the police as far as fighting against these Bedouin lowlifes. And as we're talking now, they are still, 14 out of the 18, they're still in prison. One of the mothers of the prisoners said that it is so bad that the military prison that they're in, they put them in with some Bedouin prisoners. So you can imagine how successful that is. The word gets around that you went and you fought Bedouins, and now the army has a certain unit with Bedouin fighters in there, and they've already been threatened by some of these Bedouins in the military prison here in the Holy Land. So, welcome to the haunted house of Israel. Last but not least, can't make this stuff up, we have here, listen to this one. The Middle East is awash with fighters who believe that they are fulfilling God's mission on earth. ISIS is the latest in a long list of militant groups that claim to fight for God. Others, like the Lebanese militia Hezbollah, which literally means the party of God, have been around since 1985. Israel rarely gets mentioned in conversations about fighters inspired by their religious convictions, even though the country has a large contingent of soldiers from the ultra-Orthodox Jewish communities. However, their influence is such, according to the country's former defense minister, Avigdor Lieberman, that Israel's military has now become the army of God. Got that? The hardline leader of the secular nationalist Israel Our Home Party, who is seeking to end exemptions from the Orthodox from performing mandatory military service, made this astonishing claim on his Facebook page yesterday. Lieberman, who made the comment in reaction to a booklet authored by a senior rabbinical figures, which contain instructions for religious Jewish soldiers how to avoid interactions with women forbidden by Jewish law. Which means that Israel today, secular government, is trying, and the army, they're trying to push women into fighting combat units, which is a problem for religious soldiers to be in such proximity with the women. So a booklet just came out that's being handed out in the army. Lieberman said that the Israeli army was becoming God's army. He also criticized the interference of rabbis, saying that this booklet for religious soldiers on the Jewish laws of modesty, written by military rabbis with the support of senior rabbinical figures, is yet another proof of the growing radicalization of religious Zionism that is being led by the ultra-Orthodox wing. This attempt to turn the IDF into the army of God with conduct resembling that of a ultra-Orthodox learning yeshiva is part of the same messianic worldview that has penetrated Israeli society and which seeks to damage the fabric of life and the status quo on religion and state issues, he said. Lieberman concluded his post with saying that the rabbis should be banned from the Israeli army. The distribution of such a booklet to IDF soldiers must be forbidden. The rabbis who sign it prevented from serving in reserves or lecturing to soldiers. God's Army. Another winner, Lieberman. So folks, I must say that I saw a picture in this leftist newspaper. I saw a picture of various medical assistant organizations helping those at the riots that took place on last Sabbath near the Jordan Valley. It's very interesting, the picture. You could see one person with a vest, one of these, vests with a crescent on it, Muslims. And another one of these volunteers from the UK has a cross on their symbol, on their vest. And we see the ilk, such as Lieberman, as the Erev Rav, the multitudes that left Israel, that left Egypt with the Jewish people. And as it says in thousands of books, they will be the thorns in our sides till the coming of Messiah. They will be fighting against anything that has a smell or taste of religion, of Judaism, of prayers, of the land of Israel. So it's this union that is being created, a union of the cross, the crescent, and these evil Jews that are the Erev Rav, that are uniting these common enemies of the Jewish people together to form this triangle, to form and to fight against spirituality, against the Jewish state, against Judaism, against Torah here in the land of Israel. So everyone, whatever you can possibly do, if you can just get out there and pray and cry to God, to help these people out that are being these, poor. I was thinking about these poor residents of Petach Tikva. I'm sure this happens many, many times. I just happened to see it, and I happened to be there one time, but I'm sure that it happens often. So people are being terrorized in the cities, and they have to live with all these lowlifes, and it's really, really terrible. So we can all do something to improve the situation. Next week, I'm in Eilat for 3 days, with my class, and so we'll be back. We'll take 2 in 2 weeks from now.